Within this lesson, we're going to talk about setting up and actually hooking into our canvas into our JavaScript. So there's a number of different ways to do that. You can actually even create the canvas using JavaScript, which we're going to show you as well how to do that. But for this example, we've actually just created it using HTML, and now I'm going to assign it an ID. So I'm going to give it canvas. So I'm going to give it an ID of canvas space. And then now within my JavaScript, so I'm going to connect to it using setting up canvas, and canvas I'm going to do document get. So this is working within the DOM, because now that I've given it an ID, I can actually isolate and pick up this particular element in the HTML5. So get element by ID. So now I just have to indicate the ID of the element, and then that's going to tie the canvas to this particular object in the HTML. So now we've got get element by ID. And now that we've identified it by the ID, now we can actually set our interaction, which we're just going to call CTX. And this is going to allow us to actually interact with the canvas in two-dimensional, allow us to draw and update images and content within it. So pulling in this variable that we just set up, so using canvas, and then the method is get context, and the context is going to be 2D. Now that we've set up our JavaScript, there's one important thing to note here, because we are using the DOM, and with the DOM we got to make sure that the actual page has loaded in order to interact with the DOM. So that's why we're actually going to take our JavaScript and we're going to move it below the DOM objects, because otherwise it's actually not going to work if you're keeping it at the top there, and the page, if we're connecting the JavaScript over here, we're not going to be able to actually access our canvas there. So this is one of the reasons why we're putting our JavaScript below, so that all of this information gets loaded into the DOM and then we're ready to interact with that content. And now we're just going to add in just a quick test just to make sure that our HTML5 is actually hooked up and working. So we're going to type in some text into our canvas. So right now there's nothing in the canvas. We haven't loaded any information, and I'm going to type in some basic text, and it's just going to say hello world. Close that off, and now I have to position where the text is. So over here within our hint here, we notice that the string text number X, number Y, so this is going to be on our x-axis. So location on our x-axis, we can do something like 10, and our y-axis, since we've got a height of 400, maybe we can do something like 150. And then we've also got a max width as well. So if we want to limit the width of the content area or the text area that we're adding into our canvas, we can do that within the next comma. But right now we're just going to leave it at default, because I don't want to have to set anything there. Go out to our web page and refresh it, and we see that we do have that hello world, and this is on our canvas area. So one of the things too, I'm going to set up within the style, just so that we can actually see where our canvas is. So I'm going to set up canvas, and so this is going to apply to any canvases that I have on my page. So border, solid, one pick, and I'm going to give it a color of black. So save that, or beautify that. to make it more readable, go back out, refresh it. So now that we've got a border, so we can actually identify where our canvas is located. So it looks like we're ready to begin interacting with our canvas and continue to build out our game, which we're going to be doing in the upcoming lessons.